Hello, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the reading practice session. I hope you had a great weekend, and I hope I'm audible to all of you. Ganga, this is not speaking class, this is reading practice session. Look for the link for the speaking class if you're waiting for that one. So let's begin with today's test, and I'll share my screen with the questions. Make sure that you are timing yourselves. Make sure you're participating. Sorry. So I was saying, make sure that you're timing yourself and you're not taking too long to post your answers because you have to practice time management as well. And the second thing, make sure that you're participating, you're posting your answers, and when we start the discussion, then you are very, very focused, active, vigilant, and trying to take a lot of notes because you don't even realize how much those notes will help you in your exams. So what we have observed is a lot of times you get the same blanks in the exam. Same blanks in the means I don't mean the same question, but the same concept a lot of times. So if you have written the concept and you are revising it one day before the exam, then it can help you a lot. So here I share my screen, and here you have your first question for reading writing blanks. So first question, 2.5 minutes, and then post your answers in the chat box. Make sure that you are timing yourself and don't keep on, overthinking or thinking again and again on what answers you have thought. And then you say that, no, I solved in 2.5 minutes. And after that, I was just checking and I was waiting for you to come and then I will post. This means that you are still thinking on the question, and this time of overthinking and reconsidering the answers you won't get in the exam. So make a timer that I have to post before 2.5 minutes finish. That's it. And then I cannot change. Okay. So your time starts now. Alright, should be done by now. That's why I wrote someone with the name iPhone, because there was more than one iPhone written there. Otherwise, I would have done a direct message. Please don't use markers on the screen. Okay, let's discuss this. This says Egyptian art and architecture, the ancient architecture, monuments, sculptures, paintings, and applied crafts. All these things mainly produced dash the dynastic periods of the first 3 millennia BCE. So we are talking about that something was produced dash the periods of first 3 millennia means we are talking about time. So what is the right preposition that we use with time is everybody's right in selecting during, because we always use during with time. Within is used when we have to put a limit. When we want to say you cannot go out of this, that is when you want to say within this. You have to stay within. You have to answer within 2.5 minutes. So it is a limitation when we use the word within. While is used when you make a comparison between two things, and whenever is also used with time, but there is no specific time. Like we can say you can come whenever you want. So we are referring to time, but there is no fixed time, then we use whenever. Then they say the course of art in Egypt paralleled to a large dash the country's political history. So this was a collocation. You can say this is a phrase. To a great extent are 4 words which are always written together. So the words which are written together, if there are 2 words, we generally call them collocations. If there are 3, 4 words, they're written in the same way, we call it a phrase. So it will be to a great extent. You can note it down in your list of phrases. So they say the course of art in Egypt paralleled to a great extent the country's political history, but it dashed as well on the entrenched belief in the permanence of the natural divinely ordained order. So what tense do we need here? They have used past tense, so we also need past tense. So anything which is not past tense, we should first eliminate that. So relates is present tense and rely is also present tense. So that cannot be the answer. Now we have the preposition on. We have 2 past options. So we have to find another hint, that where is the hint that they must have given me, so that I can select that out of the 2 relevant options, which is the right one. So determined does not go with on, but depend on is a collocation. The word depend goes with on. So this is how you have to these are the things that you have to learn in these classes, that how to look for answer. What are the various checks and bases? Present tense and past tense, you should be noting it down. And then check the preposition after blank. This is the second rule you should be noting by this time. Then they say artistic achievement in both architecture and representational art aimed at the preservation of forms and conventions that were held to reflect the perfection of the world at the primordial moment of creation, and to embody the correct dash between humankind, the king, and the pantheon of the gods. So with the comes a noun. We have to find out a noun here. That's the first grammatical analysis that you should do. To embody means to signify, personify something. In very layman language, you can say to show this thing. So to embody the correct dash between these 3 things, the king, the humankind, and the gods. So can we have the correct contact or correct exchange? We don't exchange things with gods. Report is kind of relationship that's more on emotional side. When two people understand each other very well, they have very good level of communication and they understand each other's emotions very well, then you go with report. So here we'll go with simple relationship, that we have to show the correct relationship between human, king, and the gods. For this reason, Egyptian art appears outwardly resistant to development and the exercise of individual artistic judgment. But Egyptian artisans of every historical period found different solutions for the conceptual challenges dashed to them. So challenges is a noun. We need a verb here. Challenges dashed to them, and this whole story is past tense. This is talking about history and historical period. So we need past form of verb. That's first thing. When we look at the options, all 4 are past forms. Then what we have to check is there any particular verb that is used with this noun challenges? So challenges faced to them, but challenges are faced by people. Challenges are not faced to people. Dealt comes with dealt with. Dealt with is the past tense of deal with. Posed and to is a collocation. Posed means come in front of. The challenges posed to them is posed is a negative version of saying challenges presented to them, because presented is a positive word. So we don't use presented with risk, threats, challenges, any of the noun which is negative. So we don't use presented, we use posed in that case. So it should be challenges posed to them. Challenges cannot be caused. Caused will be more used with damages caused, because challenges are not something which are done. Challenges are something which come in front of you. So that are not caused, that are presented, right? So iPhone, when did I say this thing that well is past? I did not even say this thing. What explanation did I give? So the first answer is during, because during comes when you have specified times given. Extent, to a great extent, to a large extent, is a phrase. The third one, we needed past form of verb. We had two options, depended and determined. And the preposition is on, and out of depended and determined, depended goes with on, determined doesn't go with on. And based on the context, the fourth answer should be relationship, because we cannot have contact or exchange with gods, and particularly we're talking about architecture. So what does contact and exchange have to do with, or emotional connection has to do with architecture? So we'll go with relationship. And whatever architecture or art they used to make, the paintings they used to make, it used to convey a relationship that these three things have with each other. And the last one, with negative nouns, we use the verb posed. If you want to say challenges, risks, threats, so we use the word verb posed with them. Right? Any confusions, anybody? All good with everyone? All right. Let's move to question number 2. 2.5 minutes, and then post your answers, please. Right, should be completed. So you think invention of computers is the greatest step in modern technology? This is a step. So what was the step before this and what is the step after that? Because step is something which is step by step, 1, 2, 3, 4. It should be going in order. That's why we cannot say that invention of computers is one step, because then what is the next step? It should be defined already. So first thing that should be noting is one of the greatest dash in modern technology has been the invention of computers. Looking at grammar analysis first, the grammar says that whenever you have this writing style, one of the, it is always filled with plural noun, because you can only pick one out of when there are more than one things. So a singular can never be the answer in this case. After one of the always comes a plural noun, and this blank comes in the exam 150%. So one of the advances, because approach is singular, progress is singular, invention of computer is not a step, it's an advancement. So we'll go with advances. They are widely used in industries and in universities. Now there is hardly any sphere of human life where computers have not been pressed dash service of man. This is a collocation. With pressed, we always go with into. So those who did not know this, please make it a note in your collocation list. Pressed, always go with pressed into something. And that something is what is it used for. So pressed into, what is the use? Service of man is the use of computers. So that is the meaning of pressed into, and it's a collocation. We are heading fast dash the day when a computer will be as much part of man's daily life as a telephone or a calculator. So we are heading, are plus ing. We are heading means we are going. We are currently not reached there, we are going there. So going, when we have a target set and we are going towards the target, then we use the word towards always, because we are already in movement and we know our goal, and we are going there means we are going towards it. We are heading fast towards the day. This day is what we are going towards, means we are going this side. How can we say though? Don't tell me you read it as through. Though comes when it's a connector. We don't even need a connector here. Connector comes when there are two parts in the sentence. One is positive and one is negative. Then we use though. And we are heading fast in the day. We don't go in the days or inside. And along the day also, we don't go along means side by side. So that day is what we are going towards. Computers are capable of doing extremely complicated work in all branches of learning. They can solve the most complex mathematical problems or put thousands of unrelated facts in order. These machines dash to varied uses. So as I always say, whenever the sentence is very small, don't fill it right there. Read the next few sentences, because for small sentences, they always give you the next information, further information to solve that blank in the following sentences, because they don't expect us to, do magic and we will understand what they are trying to say. They will give us hints, only then we can understand. Right here, they have given us example, because without example, we cannot understand what they are trying to say here. These machines dash to varied uses. For example, they can provide information on the best way to prevent traffic jams. So this is one example, means they are trying to say they can do a lot of things. For example, they can do this thing. So what is the tense they have used? What is the modal they have used? So we'll also go with the same modal, that these machines can be put. The example is also given in can. How can we say were put when the context is present tense? We are saying computers are the greatest inventions. Computers have been using. We are going towards the day. And then we are saying they were put 10 years ago. Were means something that was done, that is already done in the past. Must be putting, this is not something of a compulsion that we are saying here. That's why we cannot go with must. And will be put, again, if it is will, then how is the example in can? Because if we are yet to do the thing in future, how can we say they can do this thing? We don't know. We haven't tested them yet. So whenever your options are in tenses, it's the easiest blank. So don't fall a prey to, silly overthinking. Just read. Everything is right in front of you. The whole process by which machines can be used to work for us has been called automation. In the future, automation may enable human beings to enjoy more leisure than they do today. The coming of automation is dashed to have important social consequences. So with is comes third form of verb, and the verb should also match with the word to. Can we say the coming of automation is believed to have? We can say is believed to, grammatically it is right. But here we cannot say believed, because believed to do something is used for something which is to be done in the future. For example, we can say the spaceship is believed to reach Mars on this date, because it hasn't reached yet. Believed to do something is you are expecting it to happen that way. So the is believed to is used for things which have not happened and you are expecting or assuming them to happen in that particular way. Means it is used for future things. So here, coming of automation has already come. We are not waiting for automation. Computers are automation only. Restrained is a negative word. Restrained is restricted. You're not allowed. Based comes with based on, and bound comes with to. So the answer is bound to. Bound to means there is no doubt that this is going to have social consequences. The coming of automation is bound to have, means it's sure to have social consequences. We don't have any doubt in that, because automation is already there. So this coming of automation was not that automation has to come, because in the previous sentences they already told you what is automation, right? So these are the answers. The first one, when one of the always comes the plural noun, and invention of computers is not one step, it is one advancement. The second one, pressed always goes with pressed into when you have the use given after. And we are heading fast towards the day. When we are doing something and we have the target or goal in front of us, then we use the word towards. When you are working to achieve that goal, is we are going towards the day. The fourth ones, with the help of the example, we come to know that they are talking about present tense. So we'll also go with present tense, which is can be put. And the last one, the grammatical rule is, with all the helping verbs come third form of verb. It is a passive statement. So with is comes third form. All four are third form. So then we have to check based on the word written after the blank as well as the context. So is believed to is used for something which has not happened yet and you are expecting it to happen that way. Restrained means restricted. The sentence does not read the word restricted here. Based comes with on and bound comes with to. Right? So these are the answers. Any confusion, anybody? Harpal, what is the meaning of pressed by? By means service of man is doing the work. Service of man is pressing computers. What sense does it make? Service of man is pressing computers. So go through the concept of active and passive once. You are not clear with active and passive. That will help you. No, Yashwant, I didn't say this question will come in the exam. I said this rule comes in the exam 150%. You will definitely get one blank in the exam, which will be one of the dash. And then they will give you singular and plural options, and then you have to pick up the plural one if you will know the rule. So this rule comes in the exam. Actually, all the rules that we discussed in this class, all those rules only come in the exam. But you can never be sure about that you're going to get the same question in itself. The rules will be same. So your focus should be on learning collocations, phrases, grammar rules, these kind of rules. That one of the comes with plural, where comes singular, where, how do we check tenses, how do we check active, passive. So this is what you have to learn, because your exam reading blanks are only based on this thing. Right? Question number 3, 2.5 minutes, and then post your answers, please. All right, should be done. Let's discuss. This was a really easy question. You should have targeted a full score here. This says globalization and liberalization of the businesses in India dash the market with quality foreign products, but has affected the local Indian industries to a great extent. So what tense have they used? They have used present perfect tense. So we will also go with present perfect tense. And when you look, this is present continuous, this is past perfect continuous, this is simple present, but what we need is present perfect tense. What is it? Has, have plus third form. So because a noun is plural businesses, or there are two things, globalization and liberalization, that is why we are going with have flooded. These two concepts have flooded the market with quality foreign products, but has affected the local Indian industries dash to a great extent, resulting in the job loss. So when we read this sentence was absolutely complete, but has affected the local Indian industries to a great extent. It's a complete sentence. Still we have a blank. So we need something with ly here, adverb. And let's read it till the full stop. To a great extent, resulting in job loss to poor and uneducated workers. So obviously the effect is not good because it is leading to loss of job in the poor and uneducated group. So we need an adverb, but it should be negative as well. So effectively is a positive word. Certainly means surely. It's not negative. Adversely means negatively. And undoubtedly means without any doubt. Does without any doubt mean something negative? So the answer should be adversely, because without any doubt can be surely. Undoubtedly means surely. So what is negative in surely? So we have to go with it has affected the local Indian industries negatively because it has resulted in job loss to poor and uneducated workers. So the note that should be making is when to use adverb. How do you come to know that you need an adverb was clear here. And the second thing, check positive and negative before finalizing your answers. Globalization has been a bonanza for the consumers, dash a loss to the small scale Indian producers. Between two commas, we always need a connector. This you should be noting down, and how to know that we need a connector. Still, also, they don't come with two commas in between. These are not connectors, these are kind of conjunctions. How along with is also kind of conjunction only. But anyhow, if we even look at B and C, both the options, and then we know where is however used. However is used when you connect two contrasting pieces of information, one positive and one negative. Globalization has been a bonanza for the consumers. Bonanza is a positive thing. It's kind of a gift. And the second side says it is a loss to small scale Indian producers. That means we have a contrast in the statement. One side positive and one side negative. So we have to go with however in this case. Globalization has had some very positive effects on the Indian consumer in all sectors of society. It has affected the Indian students and education sector to a great extent by making study books and a lot of information available on the internet. Dash of foreign universities with the Indian universities has brought about a huge change in the field of education. So analysis first. If the blank is before of, we need a noun. Whenever we need a noun, the second thing that you should check is, do I need a singular noun or a plural noun? So the helping verb that they have used is has, which tells us that we need a singular noun here. So now let's look at the options. You need singular noun. Unity, combination, cooperation, collaboration. All four are nouns and all four are singulars. But in the exam, most probably they'll give you two options. One of two can be plural. One of them can be plural and one of them will not even be noun. So that's why your analysis is very, very important. Now, can we say unity of foreign industries with Indian universities? Unity is kind of an abstract feeling. So foreign universities and Indian universities don't have feelings with each other. Combination is physically joining together. So foreign universities and Indian universities, they haven't made their campuses next to each other that we can say combination. Combination is joining of two things together. Cooperation or collaboration. Collaboration is still a better word that we use in business context because foreign universities have collaborated with Indian universities. Collaboration means they have made a lot of agreements with each other that this can be our joint syllabus to teach, or if like, let's say in India there are some universities that if you do some studies from those universities, then they are accepted in the foreign universities, whereas if you do from other universities, then they are not accepted. So these are the things that examples that you can look for to understand what do we mean by collaboration, that is coming together in lot of aspects. Globalization of trade in the agricultural sector has brought varieties of quality seeds which have disease resistance property. However, it is not good for poor Indian farmers because the seeds and agricultural technologies are costly. It has brought about a huge dash in the employment sector by the spread of businesses like these. And it's disappointing to see that a lot of you have written change. Did you try to realize the extent of the statement that they have written? There is globalization, means people from different countries, businesses from different countries are coming and investing in, let's say, India. And now we have spread of cottage industry. There is handloom industry, there's carpet industry, there's jewelry industry, there's glassware industry. Is this just a change? Even if you get a new television, you say that I've changed my TV. That is change. You change your, let's say, furniture. That's change. It's a very meager, small word. Changing the whole economy of a country because of globalization is not just change. So the right answer is revolution, because revolution also means change, but it is a change which affects, not can affect, which affects masses, which is a change at a very, very large scale, which is going to affect, maybe in this case, it is going to affect 2 whole countries. So it cannot be just a change, right? Okay. So these are the answers. The first one, the answer was already in the sentence. We have to just realize that we need present perfect tense. So we have to go with that. The second answer, if you carefully read the sentence, you will come to know that you need an adverb. And when you read the complete sentence, you come to know that my answer, my adverb should be negative as well. The third one, however, this was also based on rule. When you have one side positive and one side negative, you always go with however in between if you have connectors in options. The fourth one, dash of foreign universities with Indian universities, we cannot say combination, because combination is of red and white color. It's a good combination. Blue and golden is a good combination. That's when we use word combination. 2 different countries and universities cannot be combined. They are collaborated. And the last one, because it is not just a change, it's a very big change. It's a change of a level that's going to affect millions of people. It's a change of a level that is going to affect 2 whole countries, or maybe more than 2 countries. That is a revolution. Revolution is like completely changing the previous scenario and changing it into a new one. That is called revolution. The rule in 4, before of we need a noun, and because it is has, so we need a singular noun, Rajni. Cooperation is just like, will you cooperate with me in completing this assignment? So cooperation is working together on something. That's cooperation. Not being contrasting to the other. So let's say there's a team of 5 people and they're working on a project and they're having continuous, arguments. So I want to do it this way, I want to do it that way. So it's like, guys, let's cooperate. Means let's adjust, adapt to each other's viewpoints, and let's be on one same page. That's cooperation. Fourth blank, we need a noun and we need a singular noun. That was a grammar analysis. This is noun written here. If we use PP means Mira, present perfect, past perfect. Any other confusions, anybody? If we use present perfect, then the next should be past tense. Where did you get this from? There's no such rule. It is with past perfect. If you use past perfect, then the next one should be past tense, simple past. Not with present tense. no problem. The fourth question, 2.5 minutes, and then post your answers, please. Good, well done. What is the second one? Inappropriate. No. Okay. Europe dashed some progress in discovery before the main age of exploration. So, because you had a blank very early in the sentence, that is why they have given you a long sentence after to give you a bit more information that what are we talking about, which discovery, what is the topic. The discoveries of the islands and the Azores in the 14th century by the seamen could not be followed up. So, means they are talking about past, something that happened in the 14th century. So, we cannot say Europe was made, because Europe was made will mean Europe was made some progress, doesn't make sense, because Europe has done the work. Europe is the doer here. So we'll go with Europe had made, because it's already done and completed in the 14th century. So all of you are right in selecting this. It cannot be present tense. It cannot be future tense shown in present version. That's not possible. So Europe had made progress in discovery. The discoveries of the islands in the 14th century could not be followed up immediately, however, because they had been made in galleys built for the Mediterranean and dashed to ocean travel. Still we have explanation. It's not a full stop, it's a semicolon. So the right way of reading this sentence is, whenever we have a connector, we should read it in the beginning of the sentence. Here. So the previous sentence said Europe had made some progress. However, the discoveries of these islands in the 14th century could not be followed up immediately because they had been made. Because we need to understand who are they here. They means these discoveries. Because these discoveries had been made in galleys built for the Mediterranean and dashed to ocean travel. So whatever discoveries were made, these were made for the Mediterranean, and these discoveries were dashed to ocean travel. What do they want to say? The numerous rovers that they required and their lack of substantial holds left only dash room for provisions and cargo. Definitely means not positive thing. The way they are saying it, left only, so left only cannot be much room. It will be less room. Anyhow, not good, not positive way of writing. So these things that they made in galleys are a kind of ships. So if you want to note it down. The discoveries had been made in galleys, means some ships which were built for Mediterranean travel and dashed to ocean travel. So the ships were improper to ocean travel. The ships were inappropriate to ocean travel, mismatched to ocean travel, or ill-suited. So we'll say these ships are not suitable for ocean travel. We cannot say these ships do not match to ocean travel. Ships cannot match to ocean travel. And inappropriate comes with for. These ships are inappropriate for ocean travel. Inappropriate doesn't come with to. And we cannot say these ships are improper, means these ships are not proper to ocean travel. Again, somehow we need improper for something or not proper for something. But in anyhow, proper is not a word to describe a ship, that this ship is not proper for ocean travel. So it is ill-suited. Ill-suited means not suitable to ocean travel. The numerous, and why are we saying that they are not suitable? Because they needed many rovers and their lack of substantial holds. Lack always shows negative thing. Lack of something means it's not up to the required level. Their lack of substantial holds left only dash room for provisions and cargo. So we need a negative word. Can we say left only less room for provisions and cargo? If only is not there, then two options are possible. Left less room for is fine. It left little room is also fine. But the way they have used the word only, we have to select accordingly. Least cannot come. Least is third form of verb. It comes only with the. V3s only come with the. So it's not possible. And the answer is left only limited room for provisions and cargo. Only limited means not enough. It was very, very less. Very, very limited. That almost no type of. That's when we use left only limited. As I said, only cannot come with little. Left little room is fine, not only little room or only less room. this is not the right writing combination of words. In the early 15th century, all sail vessels largely superseded galleys for Atlantic travel. Now, this was the sentence from where I came to know that what are galleys? They're kind of ships, because here they say the all sail vessels, they superseded galleys for Atlantic travel, and they were light ships, usually having two but sometimes three masts, ordinarily dashed with Latin sails but occasionally square rigged. So from this we come to know, okay, these are all types of ships that they're describing. So this is past tense. These were light ships and they were dashed with sails. So we need past form of verb. So can we say these ships were provided with sails? These ships were equipped with or completed with. So equipped with makes sense. Equipped means these are the things that the ships had. So we are giving the characteristics of the ships here. They were light ships. They had two, sometimes they had three masts, and they were equipped with sails. Equipped means these were the things that they had. When longer voyages began, the now or carrack proved better than the caravel. It had three masts and square rigging and was a rounder, heavier ship, more fitted to cope ocean winds. So this is a complete collocation. Cope always comes with cope with. And this most of you have done, right? Because it's a common collocation. We use it in everyday life. You need to cope with your stress. We need to cope up with your studies, cope up with your preparation. So a lot of times we use this combination together. So these are the answers. The first one is had made, because something which is done in the 14th century should be conveyed using the word had plus third form. And we are talking about ships, and we are saying these ships are not suitable to ocean travel. So we'll go with ill-suited, because ill-suited comes with two. Inappropriate would better come with four. And ships cannot be matched to ocean travel. The third one, the word only played a very huge role here, because we cannot say only little or only less. We have to say only limited. Like we say limited time only. So limited and only is a combination. Only and little, only and less are no combinations. And the fourth one, ships were equipped with, means they had these things in them. And the last one, cope with. Cope with is a collocation. Cope with means you have to come over. Like we say, you have to cope up with your stress. Cope with your stress. You have to somehow get over, or somehow you have to accept it and you have to move ahead. That is cope with something. You cannot just make it a big deal and keep sitting. So you have to come over it, you have to get over it, you have to finish that thing. That is cope with. Like here they say these ships were more fitted to cope with ocean winds, means to deal with. They were better to cross the ocean winds, means they had some properties that helped them to come over the ocean winds, which other ships cannot. Can we say Europe was made some progress? Europe was made means it should be a passive statement, Meera. So it should be Europe was made by someone, means someone made Europe. That is the meaning of was made here. So go through the concepts of active and passive. That is something which is troubling you. All right, the last question for reading writing blanks, the fifth one. You have 2.5 minutes and then post your answers. Should be done by now. Let's discuss the answers. Very good question. This says brain drain is the migration of human resources for trade, education, etc. The sentence is complete. We have human resources, which is the noun. That means we need to fill an adjective whenever the sentence is complete. And after the blank, it's a noun written. We always need adjective in the blank. So what kind of human resources? Proficient is a word that we use for language. We did it last week. Proficiency is related to language. So brain drain is the migration of expert human resources. We all also have migrated from different countries, from India to Australia. Are we experts? Are we professionals? Or are we skilled? So what is our migration called? We even have noticed it in the immigration policies, skilled migration. Skilled migration means you have studied in some particular field and you will now work in that field. So we are not experts in that field, but yes, we have the skill, some sort of skill. And also professionals only mean the ones who provide services. So skilled will be everybody who has done something in the field of goods or service or anything. So that will be skilled resources for trade, education, etc. Trained health professionals are needed in dash part of the world. This is a basic situation that in every part of the world we need trained health professionals. We can say in all part of the world. With all comes a plural noun. It should be all parts of the world. That is why we cannot go with all. And some part, this is wrong to say that trained health professionals are needed only in some parts. Everybody needs them. And whole part of the world is not how we write or we refer to the whole world. However, better standards of living and quality of life, higher salaries, access to advanced technology, and more stable political conditions in the developed countries dash talent from less developed areas. So all these factors, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 factors. That means our noun is plural, so we need a verb without S. No S with the verb should be there. All these factors dash talent from less developed areas. So anything which is with S should be eliminated. So these factors attract talent. Yes, we do get attracted towards developed countries. What else do we have? These factors influence talent. Influence is kind of having an effect on them. And engage comes with engage in. Engage means involve. But we'll go with attract. These facilities, they attract us to live in a better situation. The majority of migration is from developing to developed countries. This is of concern worldwide because of its impact on the health systems in developing countries. Again, the sentence is absolutely complete and concern is a noun. So we need an adjective again. What kind of concern this is for the developing countries? And this is negative, right? Majority of migration, when all the skilled people, they move from one country to some other country, it's a negative thing. Concern itself means negative. So we cannot say flourishing because it's a positive word. Viable is also a positive word. Raised concern or growing concern. So with concern, it's better to say growing because it is a current scenario. We are facing it right now. It should be ing form. This is of growing concern worldwide. These countries dash in the education and training of young health professionals. So again, countries is plural, so we need a verb without S. These countries are invested. Okay, we have different tenses, right? These, and I saw some of you writing these countries are invested. We just discussed active and passive in the previous question. These countries are invested in the education system or in the education. Give yourself some examples of countries. India and Australia are invested in the education. So have we taken India and Australia and we have invested them in the education? So countries are doers here. Countries are doing the work. So we'll say these countries have invested in the education and training of the professionals. This translates into a loss of resources when these people migrate with a direct dash to the recipient states. So if somebody is going from India to Australia, who is the recipient state? Australia is the recipient. India suffers a loss and direct dash to Australia. Australia gets a benefit. So some of you have written interest. So when you study when we study our higher education here, secondary education, and then we migrate, then is Australia going to get interest out of that? No, Australia is going to get benefit out of that. Which kind of interest can Australia get? Right? Benefit is more academic than advantage. So you should go with benefit, with a direct benefit to the recipient states. So these are the answers. The first one, skilled human resources. The second one, every part of the world needs professionals. The third one, the noun is plural, so we need a verb without s. So we'll go with attract. These facilities, they attract the people from developing countries. The next one, fourth one, concern is negative, so we cannot go with positive adjectives, flourishing or viable. We'll say this is a growing concern. Growing because this is the situation right now. If we go with raised concern, first of all, raised doesn't make sense here, because raised means somebody has raised this concern. Raised means it has come to limelight. And growing means it is increasing concern, because this is a current situation we are facing. It is increasing. And the fourth one, countries have invested, because countries have done the work. We have not invested, the countries themselves. Countries have invested the money. And the last one, when educated people go to different country, that recipient country gets the benefit. Benefit is more academic than advantage. When should, I hope it's clear, advantage and benefit, everybody. Any other confusions in this question? If the noun is plural, with the verb we don't put s. And vice versa. So you have your first question for reorders on the screen, and you only take 2 minutes and post your answers for this one. Very good. Well done. So C is the first sentence because it contains our topic. Globalization helps to consider the whole world as a single market. And then we further explain what is globalization. Traders are extending their areas of business by treating the world as a global village. Somewhat kind of same information. And then there are two time periods, till the 1990s and during the 1990s. So till the 1990s will come first because till means before that time and during means during that time. So before 1990s and then what happened in the 1990s. So even without reading the rest of the sentences, complete sentences, you could have got the right answer. Right? Any confusions, anyone? Should have been correct. Not all of you have done it correct. Should have been correct. Second question, 2 minutes for this. Should be done. Was very easy again. The first sentence is a definition. Western colonialism is a political economic phenomenon whereby various European nations explored, conquered, settled, and exploited large areas of the world. This was a definition. And then the next one is A. I'll tell you the reason. The age of modern colonialism began about 1500 following the European discoveries of the sea route and Africa's southern coast and of America. So this was just the definition that what do we mean by colonialism, and then they gave further information when it started. Otherwise also, why cannot C or D come in between? Because in C we have these nations, and these nations can only come when you name some countries, only then you can say these nations. These means you are referring to some nations. Where are the names of nations in this sentence? That means D will come before C. Only when you put D, after that you can say these nations. These means Portugal, Spain, Dutch Republic, France, and England. Without naming, you cannot refer. So the first sentence was definition. Second one was giving further information. Like I always say, the second sentence further explains or further details the first one. And then there will be reference or acronym rule or timeline rule or example rule, any of the rules that you have been taught in your strategy classes. One of those rules apply after that. This also would fall under the category of a very, very easy question. Look at the third one. You have 2 minutes and post your answers. Okay, well done. Not all of you well done. So what is the first sentence? Those who are writing first as the first sentence, the fossils were preserved. Whose fossils are you preserving? Animals, birds, insects, dinosaurs, reptiles, crocodiles. Whose fossils are we preserving? So question yourself before you are, putting your answer. I'm saying the fossils. When you have a sentence which is telling you whose fossils were they. So the first sentence is the particularly well-preserved fossils of feathered dinosaurs were discovered during the 1990s and 2000. And do you find that a sentence is general than this one? This sentence says we found fossils of dinosaurs in 1990s. And A is telling you the fossils were preserved in this sedimentary deposit, remarkable richness, completeness in fossils. This is general. Think of all the rules that you have attended in the strategy class. Reorders were very well explained in the strategy class. I do understand that when you actually attend that class before doing reorders, it doesn't seem very easy to understand. But when you actually start doing the reorders and then you recall those things, it will make sense to you. So you have to recall what was taught there. The first sentence is this: the most general, widest piece of information. So we have found fossils of feathered dinosaurs during the 1990s and 2000, and then you refer to the fossils. Because whose fossils are they? Dinosaurs' fossils. Now you give further information because you said well preserved. Now, why are you saying well preserved? Give me the reason that why did you say they were well preserved? So the second sentence always gives you the justification of the first one. The fossils were preserved in this sedimentary deposit, exhibiting remarkable richness and completeness in its fossils in China. So why are we saying well preserved? Because they were richness, complete fossils and everything, and we found them in China. Now, what is a new addition? We have added the place, and that is where we will continue the next sentence. Next will be C, because we are saying the area. The area means because we just refer to place. The area had repeatedly been smothered in volcanic ash produced by eruptions in Inner Mongolia 124 million years ago during the early Cretaceous period. And now we're left with two sentences. One sentence is talking about the area had these things. The ash preserved something. Some of you have written B and then E. If you put B first, then how can we say the ash? Where is ash in the B sentence? So it is possible that when you talk about, let's say, the area, and that sentence has one part, ash is just one part in that sentence. We are also talking about Mongolia. We are also talking about time period. So this is volcanic ash is just one part in this sentence. And it is possible that before you refer to the area again, you can explain one of the parts in detail. And then you go back to your overall scenario, the area, because that was your topic going on. But you cannot say the area, and then you say the ash when your last sentence is not talking about ash. So after B, we cannot put E, right? So these are the hints. You first introduce something, only then you refer. First you say fossils of dinosaurs, and then you say the fossils. First you say volcanic ash, and then you say the fine ash. Right? No, Meera. This is if it would be fossils or a fossil, then it is general. When you say the fossil, the means you are referring to something that you have already said. So that is not general. Then you are referring. So again, go to the article rule. Article rule says A is used for introduction and the is used for reference. There is no such rule that this word cannot come first or that word cannot come in the first sentence. There's absolutely no list for this. Because A is telling you the reason why you are calling it well preserved. So the preservation technique is being explained. So that is why it will come after. D. Why A after C? We have written A before C, not after C. Sheikh. All right. So those who are struggling in reorders, I would rather advise you to please go through your strategy class once. If you have already done number of reorders, now those things will make sense to you, which you are messing up. Either you have wrong rules in your mind, or you have your own self-made rules in your mind, or you don't have any rule in your mind. For all the three reasons, you need to go back, sit in the class, recall all those things, and that will help you to improve. So let's begin with reading questions. You have the first one on your screens. 2 minutes for that. Good. This is done well. Scientists dashed conservation canines in the research since 1997. Write it a rule which since always comes present perfect tense, means has or have. So those who have written had, please note this rule down. So it will be scientists have been using this since 1997. These dogs have enabled them to non-invasively access vast amounts of genetic and physiological information, which is used to dash conservation problem around the world. So with to comes first form of verb, and we need a verb that we use with the noun problem. With general, very basic language, we say solve the problem, but in a bit academic way, we can go with deal comes with. We discussed it today only. We do deal with problems, but we need with in that case. So we'll go with tackle, because tackle is a better academic word for the word solving. Such information has proved vital for dash the causes and consequences of human disturbances on wildlife. So after for comes ing form of verb. How many do we have? We have only one, so there's no doubt. These things are important for finding the causes. Finding means determining the causes and consequences of human disturbances on wildlife, as well as the action needed to dash such impacts. So again, with to comes first form of verb. The action needed to dash the impacts, and the impacts are negative. Human disturbances. So we need some actions to stop those impacts. We were although left with only one, two. Lessen the impacts or mitigate. So out of lessen and mitigate, mitigate means reduce, or mostly the same with lessen, but it is more academic. So you should go with mitigate over lessen. And the last one, the obsessive high energy personalities of detection dogs also make them difficult to maintain as pets. As a result, they frequently find themselves dashed to animal shelters facing euthanasia. I don't know this, sorry. So as a result, they find themselves dashed to animal shelters. So they find themselves abandoned to stranded. Stranded comes with stranded in, not to. But abandoned comes with to. Abandoned to, stranded in animal shelters, both of them means the same, but because of in and to, we have to make the choice. So abandoned means they are left there in animal shelters once they are of no use to the scientists. Euthanasia. Okay. So these are the answers. The first one with since always comes present perfect. The second one with problem, we say solve the problem or tackle the problem or deal with the problem. After for comes ing form of verb. So we go with vital for finding, vital for maintaining, vital for determining, anything in ing form of verb. Yes, out of has and have, has comes with singular and have comes with plural. And we need actions to mitigate such impacts. Mitigate means to reduce or to completely finish. That can be mitigate. And the last ones, these dogs, they find themselves left alone to animal shelters, which means abandoned to, stranded in. Stranded rather is used in a way they are stuck somewhere. Like you might have heard the news, cars are stranded in the water. So that is when you stranded in, means they're stuck in there. Tackle means solve. Any other confusions, anyone? All right. Question number 2, and you have 2 minutes, and then post your answers, please. Okay, should be done. Not a very great response. Today, more people are traveling than ever before. They are traveling even to the greater distances. The reason is that travel gives relief dash hustle and bustle of fast-paced life. This is right. With relief, we always say relief from, like on medicines also. It's written that it will give you relief from headache, from migraine, relief from is a combination. And then they say it fills the heart with energy and zeal. Tranquility of the place helps people to dash themselves. So with two comes first form of verb. What can people do to themselves? And you have written invoke. Invoke is comes something to mind. But what you have after the blank is themselves. You cannot invoke yourself. So tranquility of the place helps people to reinvent themselves. Reinvent here means that, like, you heard those advertisements in which they say visit this place, discover the new you. So when you go to such a quiet, relaxing, calm place, it actually gives you time to reinvent your own soul, that you come back as a better person. That is the meaning of reinvent here. Travel, in fact, provides dash to interact with different races, creeds, and ideologies. This was easy. It provides an opportunity. Out of chance and opportunity, opportunity is more academic than chance. Chance is a general word. With different people, to understanding and knowledge, one discovers contentment in the soothing nature, the enchanting waterfalls, and the beaches. So the sentence is complete. Still, we have a blank. Beach is a noun, so we'll go with adjective. What kind of beaches? So we actually had only one word which was adjective here. Tranquil. Tranquil means calm beaches. Those quiet and calm beaches. And then you see these exquisite art forms and costumes, enchanting music, and majestic lifestyle of people are always overwhelming. These dash the human spirit and widen the sphere of knowledge. So we need a verb here, these dash, and for present tense only because these are general things that happen in life. These dash the human spirit, and here the answer was evoke. Evoke means this kind of brings that sense to your mind. uh, Evoke the human spirit means your soul is evoked. You understand what you as a personality are. So what kind of human beings, what are your likes and dislikes, what can you improve in yourself? So all these things evoke means your soul basically evokes. And widen the sphere of knowledge because you get to know about a lot of new things which you did not know before going to that place. Raise is to like raise goes with raise the concern, bring into light. So you don't bring into light your own spirit, means you don't tell it to people. Raise is used, raise the concern, raise the awareness when it is done among people. But for your spirit, it is just for yourself. So you evoke your spirit means you understand your spirit, your soul actually comes to your mind that what exactly I want to do or what exactly am I a person like. So that's for only for yourself. Raise has nothing to do with yourself. Right? Any doubts, anybody in this question? Okay, let's move on to the next one. Third one, and 2 minutes to post your answers. Very good. This could be an easy one. The formation of ice on lakes and rivers is a complex dash. So with comes a singular noun. And yes, you are right in saying it's a complex phenomenon that involves many meteorological, hydrological, and physiographical properties of the catchment area. The meteorological and hydrological factors tend to dash both in time and space. So two comes first form of verb. When we checked, we had two, vary and change, which were synonyms. And vary is better academic than the word change. So we'll go with vary here. Linking the occurrence of ice on lake and rivers to climatic forcing might be a complex task to fulfill. However, this task is simplified by the fact that air temperature is the dominant factor driving the ice phenology. The sentence was absolutely complete. This task is simplified by. So whenever the sentence is complete and we have a verb before or after, we should go with adverb, something with ly. And this task is simplified mostly, or this task is simplified considerably. So mostly has nothing to do that 80% of the task is simplified. Rather, we'll go with considerably. Considerably means to a great extent. This is simplified by this fact. As such, changes in river ice cover can be seen as an dash of changes. So after an comes a noun. It should be singular again, and it should start with a vowel. So we have indication and phenomenon, two nouns, but phenomenon is already used. Moreover, it doesn't start with a vowel. So we'll go with indication of changes in the climate forcing factors. As the global warming is dashed to continue, the continuous monitoring of lake and river ice provide an early indicator. So with is comes third form of verb, and we have only one again. Is anticipated to continue. The continuous monitoring of lake and river ice dash provide an early indicator. So these things, monitoring of lake and ice, must provide an indicator or could provide an indicator. Those who are confused, if you want to put must anywhere, just put have to in that blank. If have to fits, only then must will fit. So can we say monitoring of lake and river ice have to provide an early indicator? No, that's not a compulsion. We are saying this can provide an indicator or this could provide an indicator. Could means possibility. That there's a possibility that we can get the indication from monitoring of lake and river ice. So that is could provide an early indicator. These are the answers. The first one with comes a singular noun. So that's why it should be vowel. Sorry, it should be phenomenon. Yes, with and we use nouns and singular nouns and they should start with the vowel. The second one, after to comes first form of verb, vary and change. Both means the same. Vary is more academic, so we'll go with that. After simplified, we need an adverb because the sentence is absolutely complete. So in that case, after verbs, we put adverbs. Out of mostly and considerably. Considerably is also more academic. Otherwise, mostly doesn't make sense here. And after an, a noun, singular, that should start with the vowel. And there was only one given in the options, indication. And with is comes third form. Again, we had only one, anticipated. And the last one, must doesn't fit. We cannot say monitoring of lake and river ice have to do this. But we can say this could provide an indication. Any questions, anyone? Fourth and the last question for today, and you have 2 minutes to post your answers for this one. Okay, should be done. Let's discuss. The commercialization of education has been fairly a trend in India. So some of you would have attended the lecture in which we discussed being. So being shows something that started in the past and is still continuing in the present. So whenever we use the word being, we always have past aspect in it. And that is why current cannot be the answer, because current has nothing to do with past, right? So you can make a note, being always shows something that is continuing from the past time. That is why we have to go with recent, because recent means the last new. It takes into account past time also. So it is a recent trend in India that stems dash the educational reform in the country over the last 2 decades. Stems from is a collocation. The word stems always comes with from. It mainly materializes itself in mushrooming private schools, public schools, and private universities, and at the high education level. In a sense, it has added a financial element to the qualification of attending private schools and public and private universities. Undoubtedly, it dashed million families. So with it comes a verb with s because it is singular. And let's see how many we have. Effects is a noun. We need a verb. So affects, the one with a is a verb. The one with e is a noun. So please make a note, those who don't know this. So it affects million families. Dash, it also changes the traditional concepts of education in Indian society. What we have in capitals is as a result or however. However only comes when we go contrast. We are not going contrast. We are using also. Also means going on the same side. So we'll go with as a result. Education was something that was always dashed by thought in the former days. So before by, if we have a blank, we go with third form of verb. Can we say education was something that was always led by thought, or that was always driven by thought? So we have two third forms, and the right answer is driven by thought, because education is something that we do. We don't lead education, we perform education. So we'll say it was driven by thought, means it was performed or done by thought in the former days. Led by thought is to lead something, right? These are the answers. The first one, recent, because been shows past tense. Past also, till present time. So past and present, both the words, whereas current only means present time. Current has nothing to do with past. Stems from means comes from, it comes out of from, or the roots are from here. That is stems from. The third one, it is singular noun, so we need a verb with s. We only have one verb with s. Affects with a, because the e one is a noun. The fourth one, as a result, because there's no contrast in the statements. Even if you read them, there's no contrast, no positive to negative. And the last one, driven by thought. Driven means it was performed in this way. Any confusions, anyone? So we use current when we only want to refer to present time. Is it all good with everybody? Okay, so these were all the questions that we had to do. And please make sure that whatever you have learned in the class that you don't know about, or you think you need to work on something, this area, this part, I'm not so good in this concept. So please work on those things, right? It is not going to only happen by knowing that I always make the tense blanks wrong, or I always lack in this side. You have to work on that. Only analysis won't help. Yes, in some cases, Mira, we also use led with by if we are using it in past tense. Otherwise, yes, we say driven by and led to, but we can say led by as well.